Hey family, good morning on this beautiful morning today. So I figured it was about time I went ahead and checked in on this, what I like to call walking the path. I just wanted to give a special thank you shout out this morning to my grandmother June. I love you so much, June. I appreciate you more than I can say for all that you've done for me. And I'd like to, send a special shout out to Kathy Two Hawks. Love you so much, grandmother. What an honor it is to walk beside you, to learn from you. So very thankful for you. I'd also like to thank all the GOC, the council members, all the members, all the newcomers. I'd like to thank everybody from Pachamama Sacred Pass, Dixie from the Rainbow Soul Circle, from the Rainbow Bridge Collective, anybody that has sat with me in ceremony, and anybody that will sit with me in ceremony. I'm very thankful to you. I love you all deeply, and I'm here for you at any point if any of you need me. And I wanted to start today off with just like a little a cappella session of some of the music I've been working on. It's not quite right yet. It's getting there. Got some studio time coming up, but it's another story. Okay. Well, there we go. I guess I'll jump into it. Intuition coming through is trying to tell me something. Thank God, I know we could change y'all. What a beautiful life that we've been living. Hey, what a beautiful night. I hold the vision, the vision, the mission. I'm trying to write my decisions. I'm tired, hide it well, crying behind the veil. Decided I'm only telling the truth, even if it kill me. Realists who gon' feel me, praying for all your healing. I'm taking time, working with the divine, shirking responsibilities. Made me a couple enemies. I'm vindicated, debated where I'ma take it. Patience is doing well, hate comments, who cares? Waking up too clear, leaping in new layers. Naked, I'm done hiding, been thinking of what's right and not. Found my heart, I'm a messenger with the stars. I've been tested, I'm going far, and I know that you're coming with me. Devotion, emotion inside of me of emotion was way heavy. The levees just started breaking, this hopelessness hiding me, fighting me, and myself is some irony, maybe tyranny, hearing me. Oh my God, some fear in me. Finally releasing, they told me time undefeated, but I'ma own it. I know it, I feel it deep in my soul. Something they couldn't bury, no matter how they trying. I'm a lion, the fire wouldn't go out, it went high. Desires receding, they feeding off of my energy, hitting me. When I was down, I bet they thought that they finished me. I'm epitome, alchemist, sold and sending me Valkyries. Found a garden of Eden, and I'ma drink for the fountain here. Yeah. But something like that. It's getting there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in kind of where I left off. And that would be when I was working with Pachamama Sacred Pass, learning under one of my teachers in my early awakening again, Andres. I'm very thankful for you, brother. I know we had kind of a falling out, but I'd love to reconnect with you. I learned a great deal from you. About myself, about my own power, about standing in my truth, about how to connect. I learned so much from you, brother. Thank you for all that you did for me. And really, I'd say we left off where I was laying down to rest in the sarcophagus in ancient Egyptian times when I was doing the Kriya breath work. And for me, it really just kind of blew me away. It was the first time in my life when I had touched a space like that. I was living another memory that was as real or realer, more real than what I've experienced in this incarnation as this being Matthew Miller here. And it's hard to unpack that because it starts to blur the lines of who and what you look at yourself as. Like, who am I really if this is just as real as this current lifetime that I'm experiencing now? And that really stuck with me. feel like it started to unravel the knot, or started the domino effect of unpacking myself within myself. So after that, it kind of moves forward towards, I would say, my first real retreat. And I've been in the class for a while, I don't know, a few months then at that point. Lots of ritual work, lots of healing, lots of looking at myself and what I really wanted and what was important to me. Still kind of dealing with some past abuse, substance abuse, really not really knowing exactly where I was, who I was, and where I was going, but working towards it. And it's like whenever I would fumble and start messing up, I would get signs like, you know who you are, you know what you're supposed to do. And then it's like when you would make those choices that would lead you down the correct path, I would get like signs everywhere I go that's like beautiful life ahead or great things to come and things like that, just showing up all over the place. Synchronicities. So I had felt a deep calling to go to the Christmas retreat. I believe it was went right through December 25th. I'm not sure, like the 23rd through the 27th or something. They were 4-day retreats that we did. And it was one of my most subtle retreats for most of the medicines. But I remember very clearly feeling at home, like remembering what humanity is here for at those retreats. Feeling the peace, the love, the forgiveness, the openness, the vulnerability of others. And that is a beautiful thing. Began to break my heart open in ways I hadn't really experienced in this lifetime. See people crying openly and sharing their deepest, darkest fears and desires and everything that's most vulnerable to them and most important. And that's how we learn to see each other and to see ourselves, is by really being truthful and vulnerable and sharing those things. And we realize that when we do, there are so many others who are going through the same thing. We're all reflections of each other. We're all fractals. We're all mirrors for each other to see ourselves better. And that is a beautiful thing. So it started off with the first night of Mama Ayahuasca, and I was tremendously nervous. I had done NN, dimethyltryptamine, probably, 10 times before that, smoking it, but it's a completely different ride. It's like a 10-minute rocket ship out into other dimensions. Mama Aya is much more smooth, and in my experience, it can be very intense as well, but it also has the spirit of the Great Mother, and she's there to look after you, to hold you, to show you whatever it is you need to see that you're hiding from yourself. So my first experience with Mama Aya was very light. I didn't see much at all. I didn't experience a whole lot, but a very deep sense of peace and calm and serenity. And I felt like it was just a big hug from her. Like, it's nice to see you again, my son. We don't want to do too much work right now. This is enough, just kind of the meeting of each other again in this lifetime. And I felt like I was held and almost put into like a cocoon space where I was conscious of a lot of the work that she was doing, but not very conscious of it. Like she was working behind the scenes in my subconscious, clearing things out for me. And really the only vision that I had on the eye at this time was a serpent, a big serpent that swam up to me. I believe it would be Sachamama or Amaru, the great mothers of water, who help us to shed our skin and be born anew, to shed our old ways and be born anew as they are. We thank you, great mothers, spirit animal of the South and the South American tradition. And it's a great honor to get to work with you, great mother. And that was really the extent of it for me for the first night. I was quite blown away by some people, just the experiences that were happening in the retreat, specifically in Aya. It can get quite intense, but you want to remember that somebody else's process is never your own. And though somebody may be crying or screaming or going through something that seems intense to you, it might be the most beneficial, explorative, beautiful moment of their entire existence that helps them to transform and to change, or just to find themselves more deeply in the space that they're already in and be the truest version of themselves. So always remember, we're not saviors here, and nobody's a victim in those experiences. We have chosen those experiences for ourselves, our higher self, our subconscious, because we need that healing. And though our ego may fight it at times, that is what we have chosen, and that is what's best for us. We must remember that in all scenarios. That whatever somebody's going through is a lesson that their soul wants to learn. For whatever reason that is, it could be something that they went through in a past lifetime, and they get done and like, why did I do it like this? Okay, I need to go back and live something where I get to experience this so I can learn that lesson. So I always need to keep that in mind. The next day was Niños Santos, the children saints, my boys, who help us really connect with, and my girls, y'all, love y'all. I love them deeply. I've had a long-lasting relationship with the Niños. At the beginning of my life, it was more often kind of a party thing for me, or hanging out with friends, or just to feel something cool and trippy. But this time was the first time I really stepped into the depth of the experience. And I believe I did 2.5 or 2 grams in a lemon tech tea, which is where you take the niños and you'll grind them up into a powder, and you will soak them in lemon juice, and that will convert the psilocybin into psilocin, which is the active ingredient that your body will metabolize psilocybin into. So it's basically starting the metabolic process in the medicine before you ingest it. So this will make the medicine normally about 2 to 3 times as strong, from what I understand, but it's a shorter duration. And we also would have a MAOI inhibitor in the system from the night before from Mama Aya, which can also make the concoction a little bit stronger as well, up to multiple times. So really you're looking at 2 grams is normally about a 1/4 ounce or so, about 7-8 grams worth of mushrooms if you were to eat just dry cubensis. But I remember being flabbergasted at how strongly and how fast it set on. We began doing a meditation ritual led by my brother, my soul brother, Michael Burdick. And before he even got through the meditation, there were pyramids spinning around in my head, and ancient Egyptian gods jumping out and staring at me, and then jumping back into the pyramids, and different ones jumping out and staring at me, and then jumping back into the pyramids. I was to a point I couldn't even barely move. I had no idea what was happening. I had never experienced anything close to that intensity of a psychedelic experience in my life, besides N-dimethyltryptamine. But I didn't think there was any way possible psilocybin could be anything close to that. And it felt like a DMT journey. It really did. But I remember in that journey getting glimpses of friends, of parts of myself that I had once known. Almost like a hey, remember, wake up, that kind of thing. And it's not till these last probably month or two that I really realized how significant that was for my journey. And as you start to come down, we would do a 3-hour period of silence so you could go deep within and just touch base with yourself, with your inner child, and go back to memories, anything that would come up within you. Normally, the negative things that we continue having in our life post-childhood are from childhood traumas that we haven't looked at or we don't realize are there. And when you don't allow that energy to flow, when you don't let yourself feel it as a child, because how could you know how to at that point? A lot of times we store it away in places in our body, the dense energy, the hucha, as we call in the Q'ero tradition. And that creates dis-ease in the body, disease. It creates energetic signatures for fear, for hatred, for guilt, for shame, for whatever it is that you had felt at that point. And until you go back and look at these experiences, you're going to continue to manifest experiences in your life from your subconscious that are trying to tell you, and your higher self that are trying to tell you, look, we need to heal this. We need to look at this. And the only way it knows how to is by bringing that same feeling into your life again. Like, hey, remember this? We need to go back and fix this, or else this is going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming into my life. So you got to remember that the difficult times are often a gift to us, to remind us of areas within ourselves that are no longer serving us, from pains that no longer hold value in our lives, that are crying out for healing. Your little child self crying out for your help, to be told that he didn't do anything wrong, you know? That the things that happened to you were not your fault. And that if there's anything you can do for them, talk to them, create that dialogue, whether it's going out to get pizza or getting some candy or going out to play at the park or something. Ask your inner child if there's anything that you can do for them to help to heal this. Just hold that space for them. Let them know that they're safe and that nothing that happened was their fault, that you forgive them, that you forgive yourself, that you love all versions of yourself from the beginning of time until now and beyond. We've always done the best that we can with what we knew at the time. A butterfly doesn't look back at the caterpillar phase in shame, as we shouldn't look back on earlier versions of ourselves in shame or in guilt or in fear or in any kind of lower vibrational energy. We should shower that version of ourselves with love, because that's what it deserves. It's what we deserve. Now, I've heard old, I believe it's Lakota saying from Stephen Lake. He's the leader of the council of the GOC. Love you so much, brother. But he told me, we are born of beauty into beauty for a beautiful experience. Always remember that. It's stuck with me. There's nothing in and of the world that isn't of spirit. And there is nothing in and of the world that isn't of beauty. And all this density that we go through is to help us to remember that divine light that's within us. And moving forward past the Niños days, I'm just going to kind of keep it going here. We had the San Pedro, the Father. And what a beautiful, beautiful medicine this is. For me, I'm always somewhat introverted, or at least I have been a lot of my life. Maybe from traumas, that I'm really working to unpack all of the hindrances in myself with speaking to people, with standing in my truth. Always a work in progress, family. The healing line is not a line, it's a spiral. And as we continue to heal, we keep seeing our traumas and the things we've gone through from a different angle, to infinity and beyond. We keep going and going and going and healing and healing. No matter how healed you are, there's more healing that can be done. It's a beautiful thing. The destination is not the destination. The journey is the destination. And how beautiful it is. But we would make our San Pedro with a powdered version, normally with cacao, beautiful heart-opening medicine, which is, from what I understand, like a cousin of coffee bean, but it's a different active ingredient that lasts quite a bit longer and is not near as stimulating, though it does give you a boost of energy. Cacao is a very beautiful medicine, used for many ecstatic dances and different gatherings for people. It really opens you up, makes you more comfortable, makes you more loving. It's a great coffee alternative. If anybody's interested, I highly recommend it. But we would mix that up with the San Pedro, and it turns into like a gelatin, big soupy mess sort of that we drink. I guess you have to kind of eat it. You don't really get to drink it. Yeah. Kind of chewing it up into really, it's like a really thick gelatin. And they always told us that we shouldn't add sugar or cinnamon or honey or any of that the first time we take the medicine, because they're bringing us a gift. And if we do that, it's like when somebody brings you a present and you're like, this fucking sucks. Excuse me for cursing, but this sucks. Why would I, let me add this to it, let me fix it up this way and do this and this and this, like right in front of them. And they're like, well, why did I bring this to them? I shouldn't have even brought anything. That's how the medicines feel. And this is as relevant as well with Mama Aya. It can be a interesting experience the first time you drink it. Some people think it's very harsh. Some people really enjoy the medicine's flavor. It just kind of depends on your palate, I guess. But they can be, some people don't like them. They can be gross. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you want to sit with that medicine and chew it up and be comfortable in that discomfort and tell it, thank you for everything you're bringing to me. I allow you into every cell of my body. I thank you for this healing. Whatever it is that you bring into my system, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Always gracias, medicina. Always thank you, thank you, thank you with all the medicines. Gratitude begets more positivity into your life, begets more things to be grateful for. Negativity will bring more negativity into your life. The world really, the universe really is a mirror. This plane we're in is a matrix that's created by your own vibration. Everything outside of you is a reflection of everything inside of you. As within, so without. As above, so below. It's all a reflection. But as we drink the medicine from the San Pedro, you start, for me, to feel like a deep sense of interconnectedness with all of nature, with everybody and everything. And it's almost like a a deep euphoria that starts to set in as well, and a playful manner, and a feeling of being able to sense the emotions and love and deep joy emanating from all beings and all things, almost like you can see a smile on every single atom and molecule in the air, and on the groups of them, and on the little critters, and everything is emanating these different levels of emotion. It's not always joy, but for me it most often is joy and peace and positivity and love. And it's a beautiful thing. Those days almost always turn into like a big dance party where we'll have people come and do Reiki healings, and we'll have Tim Lechuga, Mahashakti music. Shout out Tim. Theo, love you, brother. But he'll come do sound baths a lot of times for our different churches that we've had, singing bowls. He'll sing music to us. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience, where it's like kind of the first 2 days of the journeys are sort of work days, and the second 2 are normally more of kind of relaxation and fun, from my experience at least. And that day normally followed by a beautiful dinner. Everybody shares, and that's another thing I have forgotten to mention. After each medicine, either the night before, the morning after, or the night after, or the morning after, we will do a sharing circle where everybody honors everybody else and will listen. We normally have a sharing stick or a rattle that gets passed around the group, and we ask that you don't speak while others are speaking unless spoken to specifically. And we give each other that space. We hold that space in honor. We always say that it's more sacred than Vegas. What happens in those circles stays in those circles. And I want all of you to know, if you ever sit with me, that's how I will take, and that's how I will approach any interaction that we have. Anything that happens, anything that you say, anything that you do in any of those circles, it stays with me in my heart of hearts. I give you my word, in honor, in the beauty way. Aho matakuyas, and I love you, family. And finally, I think this is kind of the last step I'm going to touch on today, was doing the bufo for my first time. Oh my God, was I nervous. Holy grace, was I nervous. You always heard stories of this is the moment, this is the most profound experience you can have on this planet. This is the spirit molecule. This is the connection with the source, with that Brahman energy, with EI, with whatever you want to call it, the perfect combination of the masculine and the feminine energy in unison at the God point, the Godhead, everything that is the divine source, the sacredness from which we emerge from, the no thing, the nothingness space from which all things began. And I remember when they serve, there's normally a few facilitators who will be up walking around the room with rattles, with feather fans to cleanse the energies, or pokpos, your energetic field around you. And just a lot of times, not a lot of times, but because sometimes in ceremony some dense energies can come up, so it's a beautiful thing to have those angels there walking around you to hold space for you. And I felt very safe and at home and secure, luckily, but it was completely nervous within myself. And probably half of the group went before me, and it was a pretty mellow journey. Everybody seemed to have a intense but beautiful experience from what I had seen. We were asked to not speak about the journey until we go into sharing circle. So as it came my turn to go, my heart was beating out of my chest. So nervous. But Andres led me through a breathing exercise, which we always do before serving bufo to any participants, to regulate and to put your mind and your heart space into balance, your left and your right side. Your left side is the analytical part of your brain, the masculine part of your brain, which controls the right side of your body. The right side of your brain is the feminine, the receiving, the yin energy, which controls the left side of your body. You want to have those in harmony when you're going into this medicine, because it is a balanced medicine. Some call it the grandfather Sapito, so it may lean slightly masculine. But as I began, it's you smoke the medicine, and it's a small inhale that you want to set the pipe on your lip, and you don't wrap your mouth around it. You just want to breathe like you're sipping hot coffee, because the smoke's very dense. So as you inhale, it'll make you cough if you're not used to it. If you put your mouth around it, try to suck it all in. It's not a good way to do it. I've seen many a times that happen, and it's not advisable. I mean, you're more than welcome to do whatever you'd like, but I advise that you don't wrap your mouth completely around the pipe. You set it here, and you're gonna wanna sip it like hot coffee. And as I'm inhaling, as Andres is serving me, well, you first will put your intentions into the medicine. You do this with each of the medicines. You're always gonna wanna sit with the medicine and think about, why are you doing this, and what are you looking to gain from this? And it's always, you want to look at the positive side of it rather than the negative side. So if you're dealing with fears and heartaches, and what does it look like to be on the other side of that? Is that peace? Is that confidence? What is that? And when you feel that, and when you connect with that, you want to feel that feeling, or feel a time in your life when you most felt that confidence or that freedom, or whatever it is that you'd like to feel, that you feel like those are holding you back from. And you'll blow 3 breaths of life into the medicine. So and imbue that with the vibration of that feeling. Now with the Bufo, in my experience, you always get what you're asking for, but not always in the way that you're asking for it. So in my first experience, I asked for confidence, and I sure got it, but definitely not in the way that I was expecting. So as I sat there, I lay back, and I all of a sudden sit up, and I'm in, immediately it's onset. It's, as soon as you're smoking it, it is there in your system. And it comes on like much like an dimethyltryptamine, like a rocket ship for me. But it's almost like an internal rocket ship into yourself, into this almost primordial soup of creation, where you are the entire universe and yet nothing at the same time. You're all that ever could be and ever has been, and nothing. And it's like this perfect combination, this balance, almost like an ocean is what it felt like, of waves between the light and the dark, of just this pure source energy. And there was a lot of fear for it, for me, in the first time. I remember all this fear and angst, and it's like, oh, like, what is this? What the fuck? What? Oh, I didn't know what the hell was going on, you know? And that's really, it's it can take you aback the first time. But as I sat there in that energy, like, oh, then all of a sudden, it was like the entire universe shifted, and this energy like boom down, and it felt, all of a sudden I stood up, and I could feel the energy rushing through my entire body. I could feel it pulsating and flowing in a way that I had never experienced. It felt like there was lightning in my veins, in every inch of my body, just pulsating. It felt like, if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, that I had gone Super Saiyan, like, which I think I screamed a little bit, I'm not sure. But I was like, oh, holy shit, I am God. We are God, all of us are God. Oh my God. And I started screaming, which we're supposed to be quiet in those scenarios. So Michael Burdick came over to me and said, brother, come on, let's go outside and ground. He's like, come on, take your shoes off. Let's get on the grass. Put your feet on Pachamama. So I did. I took my shoes off my feet, and then I remember looking at my hands just like, oh my gosh. Holy shit. Holy fuck, this is real. Oh my God. And all of a sudden, the part of me that I had asked for, that confidence that I was asking for, came in, and it was, I had never in my life felt good enough. I'd never in my life felt enough, like I didn't need to be covered up in some form or fashion. And I literally stripped off all of my clothes, butt naked, and started running around, prancing around the lawn. Like, I just had to touch everything. I was grabbing in the ground. I had to touch all the grass and touch everything and be free completely for the first time in my life. I couldn't have anything on. I couldn't be covered. I had to be free in all of my purity, my honor, my joy, my divinity had to be seen. I was not about to be covered up. I knew who I was for the first time in my life. What a beautiful, beautiful experience that was. There's many, many a times that I touched base with that experience when I'm going through struggles or hardships. And I can always think back to that and remember the power that's inside of the beauty, the grace, the divinity, the sacred joy that flows within each of us. It's always been there and it will always be there. You know, they say the present is a gift. And I mean, it really is. That's all that there has ever been. Anything that you think about in the past has happened through the present. It's no longer existing. It's just a memory in your mind that you will think of sometimes or cling to sometimes. And anything that you want to happen in the future has to happen through the present. All that's ever been and all that will ever be is this present moment. So anything that you want to do, want to become, has to happen right now. There's no such thing as tomorrow. All that exists is right here, right now. That's all that will ever exist. So my brothers and sisters, please, if there's anything you want to do, chase it. I guess don't chase it, but know that you're worthy and manifest it. Go be who you were born to be, brothers and sisters. I love you all so, so deeply, so very much. From the bottom of my heart, your brother, always in honor and holy grace, Matthew, Maverick, Marisyahe, Iriyahe, Running Wolf, Brother Bear, Blue Bird, Eagle Eye, Xavier Sky, Iron Dog, White Buffalo, Thunderbird, Steel Miller. Aho matakuyasin. Till next time. Much love, man.